The Peter Bunner Falcon is directed by and written by Tyler Nilson and Michael Schwartz and stars Shia LaBeouf, Zach Gottsagen, Dakota Johnson, John Hawkes, and among others. And this tells the tale of a kid named Zach who suffers from Down syndrome, and he lives in a retirement home in North Carolina. And he basically wants a dream. He has a dream of wanting. He is he's obsessed with wrestling and everything, and he wants to basically pursue his dream of becoming a wrestler, and he wants to basically try to get out of the lifestyle of living this retirement home and basically pursue his dreams. And
While also at the same time, we have another story following Shia LaBeouf, who is pretty much don't have no more family. He has nowhere to go, and he's having a rough time with money, and he's kind of doing some stealing, working for a fishing company, and he was caught stealing, and he pretty much gets fired, and he ain't got nothing else to do. So his dream is to go down to Florida, to Jupiter, Florida, where they have a bunch of different little fishing companies where he could be more settled. And them two cross paths on their journey, and you pretty much see the trailer where it's kind of like a Mark Twain type of story.
yeah, and it's kind of like it kind of goes with this
Like
kind of like
comic book type thing.
yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Yeah, and along the way, Dakota Johnson's character is the social worker that wants to try to bring him back to the retirement home, and basically it becomes pretty much a coming of, or basically a touching like heartwarming tale of bonding and basically pursuing dreams and basically a good message that's that this boy wants to pretty much go through. And
Exactly.
now here's a little backstory. I didn't really hear much about this film until I saw the trailers for it on YouTube. And this is a film that it kind of got me interested because it's good to see that because I've always liked Shia LaBeouf as an actor when he's doing certain movies and stuff because I find the guy there was actually a time that I actually enjoyed a lot of his movies that he was in. And
Yep.
I feel like a lot of his recent stuff that he's been doing lately, that at least that he shows up in, he's really matured as an actor, and I like these different projects that he's been doing.
As we know that he also went on a little hiatus, kind of was going through some issues where he didn't want to be part of Hollywood and all that other stuff. I've
Mm-hmm.
always been a big fan of his. Like, I liked him in a lot of co-supporting roles. Like he was in Constantine, which I found him to be really good in. I liked him in Fury. There's movies also. Then there's movies that also I felt like ruined his career. I liked him first Transformers, but then it got worse as he was in the other ones. But
Yeah,
can't really blame him only on those. But then the trying to pass the torch for him being the next Indiana Jones was a horrible fucking idea of
yeah,
casting. So shit like that kind of started making me him not really. I had that a period of time where I thought he's not that good. He's starting to really because the Transformers boosted him up so up here that I felt like he can just be in anything and not be criticized. And that's when he started going like that. It wasn't until personally Lawless was it
yeah.
probably that where he was like okay, but then that he had that little personal issues where he kind of took some time off, and then now we're getting him kind of back into shit like this. And this is the type of shit I actually prefer to see him in over something like Transformers per se.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it helps that he definitely does have a lot of range, and he does to seem to be
Yeah.
taking a lot of really good mature roles like this. And after upon seeing the trailers, it got me curious. But this was also one of those movies that around the time that it came out, it was just something that I basically didn't rush to see in theaters necessarily because
Yeah.
I just figured it was going to be one of those movies that was like, okay, maybe I'll wait for video or something for it because it's not really something I rush out to see, basically. You
Yeah, I mean, I saw the trailers and I knew what it was going for. A bonding of a kid with Down syndrome and befriending a guy who has a troubled past, which I like that idea. And the trailers were really grabbing me. However, like he said, it wasn't something that we only had like one weekend where it came out where we lived at. Um, I drive about 20 something minutes back to where he lives at in Fort Smith because I live out in a small country town out in the
Yeah.
country. And I basically, this was like coming from weeks of going hardcore, seeing a bunch of movies, and then this randomly just came out. And I felt like it was probably best that I just sit back and not really do any much driving other than kind of taking care of personal shit. So we missed it, but this has still been kind of on my must watch before the end of the year list. And now, upon seeing the film after night, I thought it was very heartwarming. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good as well. It was actually a film that really I found a lot of great heartwarming moments with. It was great. It actually really, actually had it took a simple story, but made it still very, authentic, and it was very, heartwarming, like you were saying. So again, my pros,
Exactly. It's not trying to be anything more out there other than a very small, simple tale of two people with two goals, two troubled pasts. Well, one not really his fault, born, but he was given up, and his troubledness of wanting to get away. Because I mean, the kid was putting in a retirement home, and when he could probably be more beneficial with a somebody adopting him and him get be able to do things.
yeah,
And then you have Shia LaBeouf's story, which like we said earlier, he's got a troubled past. Where he dealing with the death of a family member, a personal one. Not going to really spoil it too much, but a history which kind of digs into it a little bit, where it shows that maybe it kind of started from there after losing his brother. Kind of remind me of Stand By Me, but
yeah,
yeah, on that kind of level. And the movie actually kind of reminds me of a very simple tale of Stand By Me,
yeah.
um, without looking for a dead body, of course. But
True.
it was I enjoyed the Shia LaBeouf, and I really the kid with the Down syndrome. I thought him and Shia LaBeouf like chemistry worked very good. I
Yeah,
enjoyed both of them. In fact, I mean, there's not a lot of other things going on. There is, but there isn't. But whenever it's just them two on screen, I could pretty much watch a whole movie with just them two.
yeah.
Like I really didn't really care or needed the love interest parts and stuff like that. I really would. I enjoyed these two together.
I did too. Like that's where I get into some of my pros. Like
Mhm.
Shia LaBeouf, him and the kid, they were great together, and they had a lot of great bonding moments that I really enjoyed. It was very touching and very heartwarming, and I love the whole brother, like the brother type aspect they were kind of going for. That's the metaphorically calls back to, like you were saying, with Shia LaBeouf's character with his troubled past and everything. And I like that it really went hand in hand with it. And I also
Yeah,
got to appreciate the fact that the movie is set in a very small town area, and I like when we get movies that are very more that take place in the South and stuff.
you know
And
what? It's like the setting with the whole like Georgia-ish, swampy Louisiana, Florida type feel to it. Kind of remind me of like kind of like a Bubba Gump type thing setting,
yeah,
or a modern day old brothers were out thou type. It's kind of Mississippi-ish look,
yeah,
because they're going through a lot of swamps. Because basically, Shia LaBeouf's character, he's a fisherman who gets fired, and pretty much, his thing is fishing, and it's like shrimping and crabbing and all that stuff he likes to do. And but anyways, going back to the story, like I said, there's a dark story that happened with Shia LaBeouf's, like with like a brother or something. Well, anyways, trying to say that I loved how like him and his kids bonding. It almost makes you feel like Shia LaBeouf is like got somebody finally.
yeah,
Like it's kind of like not really replacing his brother, but like something that was like he was missing. And I think that's what the meaning of it, a little bit of the meaning of it was. Why
yeah,
he was really enjoying the character. Of course, the build up to it is really good. They kind of start out where Shia LaBeouf's kind of like a dick, but then the kid starts growing on him, and then they become close.
yeah. What I also got to do too, this also comes back with some of the other performances. I'm glad to see also that Dakota Johnson is starting to do a lot better, good and getting more good movies from now on. You know, especially since last year she did Bad Times El Royale, and she's starting to really get more into more prominent roles. And she was really good in this movie too. She wasn't like, I mean, her character was just mainly there along with the whole situation, but her performance I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, her
Um,
performance is good. I enjoyed her. It's nice seeing her. Like, I mean, first start with Battle Royale, which she finally got into, where I was like liking movies she did. I was stuck with the fucking 50 Shades of Grey movies.
yeah,
I saw the whole trilogy, and really, it's good to see that those movies didn't kill her career because those could have easily just fucking gunned her down on a future acting career because those were
yeah.
fucking atrocious. But it was good seeing her in some more movies. I'm hoping she could do other things I like. But
Mhm.
yeah, she was good. Like her character was. I wouldn't say that she was not important to the story, but uh, I don't know. I just enjoyed Shia LaBeouf and the kid. That's
Yeah, I
all
got
I.
it. But I also I do like the other guy they bring in too, Thomas Hayden Church's character, because he had
Yeah.
some funny parts that I actually thought was kind of reminding me, like, because I remember like thinking in my head, and then you told me, I was like, oh yeah, he was kind of reminding me of the Rex Kwon
Rex
Do
Bond.
from Napoleon Dynamite, the way
Yeah.
he talks.
Yeah, Thomas Hayden Church character plays the wrestler, which this kid with the kid with Down syndrome ends up uh pretty much being his idol, and uh his journey is to wanting to go down there and learn at his school and
Yeah,
meet his idol. So yeah, it was pretty cool seeing Thomas Hayden Church, play that, especially some of the lines. Which, by the way, I want to get into one of my other pros. It was pretty funny at some parts in this
I
movie.
know. One of my favorite parts is the part where they come across this blind man's home where he's like in the swamps, and he's basically having the boy basically be baptized and having him along the
Yeah,
way.
he's
There,
big on Jesus and stuff, and he actually helps him build this boat thing so it can get further downriver and all that. And Dakota Johnson's character shows up like later in the movie, kind of tracking them down because she, like he said earlier, she works for the social department, and so she don't get fired. They pretty much send her on this goose chase to go find uh,
yeah,
the the boy. And she's going through so many neighborhoods, just meeting up people. But she goes to that house, and she's like, "Excuse me, sir, have you seen this kid?" And he goes, "I haven't seen shit."
yeah,
It's fucking got like you can tell he's blind. He's got cataract like off the
yeah.
fucking ass. But yeah, that was pretty funny. And um, Thomas Hayden Church made me laugh at that part at the wrestling scene at the towards the end where he goes, he was like, "That some bitch came out here with a cardboard box on."
Yeah,
He's like, "What the hell?" But
yeah,
yeah, and then him and Shia LaBeouf, there was scenes that were really fucking funny. I mean, them getting drunk and he blacked out.
yeah.
The kid,
And
that
he's
was
teaching
pretty.
him how to shoot guns and go swimming and all that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's some really, really genuine good parts in this film. Uh, I
Other than
mean, do
that,
you
I
have any
mean, if I have
add?
like, no, my only this is where I got to a little bit of my cons, like just minor things. Even though the movie does pay off with the whole overall arc with the main kid and everything of his journey where he goes, I did feel like it was a little rushed the way it kind of ends on when it gets to its ending. Because well, the build up to this too is that we also have this subplot going on where uh Solid Buff is getting into some debt with these guys that he basically steals from, and one of them is played by John Hawkes. And there's basically a running theme where they have to pretty much go after him and stuff. I felt like the movie didn't kind of glossed over it toward the end because we don't really get any payoff with it when these guys
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. There, I agree with you. Like, we forgot to mention that earlier that they added some villains to a story like they do, any movie. And like you said, he owes debt to him because not only did he steal from them, but he also did something because they said some fucking smart ass remarks to his brother about his dead
Yeah,
brother. something about his brother, which you'll see in the movie, which you kind of see in flashbacks. But they say something about his brother, which pissed him off, and he did some kind of like revenge shit. But one of my cons I had was there was a part where they kind of catch up with him in the middle, and I'm just thinking a realistic part since what they do at the end of the movie. You would think that it'd probably been better if they did it in the middle of the movie, what they were going to do, because in the end there were so many witnesses.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like it was kind of convenient that they were outnumbered. I mean, you got a kid with Down syndrome, him, and a girl is like, and then you had these group of guys. You'd think at the middle when they found them, they would have been able to done stuff. And another little nitpick I did find was I found it very convenient that, and in the movie specific about it, they have like a 70-mile range it takes to get to where they're going. And it was weird how everybody's finding them, like how they're being found. Like even Dakota Johnson even finding them like randomly out in the fucking middle of nowhere. It's like,
yeah, that was pretty convenient.
Yeah, it's pretty convenient.
Other than that, it was mainly just the ending I felt was kind of
rushed. Yeah. The ending felt kind of rushed, like you were saying, where they finally get to where they're going, and some things kind of like, the dreams get to happen finally and stuff. Then there's some kind of like dilemma thing, and I just don't feel like they really like the movie just pretty much ends. It tries to trick you at first, something might have happened, and then it just randomly just ends. It's just like, I mean, yeah. I get that they kind of probably fulfilled the dream, but I felt like they rushed the dream part.
Yeah, I felt like it was very short lived, so to speak. But we'll leave it.
Another issue I had was the whole like abandoning on one plot, and there's this one plot we get in the first half, in the middle of the movie, and it's Shia LaBeouf's character where he gets these dream sequences about his brother, and they had like a good special bond, and they tell you vividly that what happens in the beginning of the movie, and they start kind of showing you in pieces, building up to like, they're going to eventually show you what really happened, and they just forget about that completely. So it was like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Yeah, I did notice that they kind of just abandoned it. But overall, though, given for what it is, this is definitely one that was definitely a surprise for me. Like I did highly enjoy it. It's definitely a film that it has a lot of heart to it, and it has a great message about living your dreams and going for it and everything. And it's a story that can live on through ages with so many tales. And this is definitely one of the.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf's character, I really enjoyed his character, how he stood up for the boy.
That too. I love that.
How like you would think that somebody's like that rough would be like bullying him and stuff, and then you got the person who's really more nice, taking care of him, and you really have the opposite when it comes to like, like where the girl's more blunt about, hey, he's basically trying to say in kind of a quietness that he's retarded and stuff, and Shia LaBeouf is like sticking up for him, saying that boy is got a hell of a heart. He wants his dream. I want to make sure it happens. He knows what to do. He should never be locked up, and that's true. I mean, the boy should never have been locked up where he was locked up. I mean, he was pretty smart. He had goals, so it was a pretty good message. So with that being said, I enjoyed it. It wouldn't be my top 10 or honorable mentions or anything. I'm just glad I watched it. So I'm going to give this film a low compelling grade in Film Freaks meter.
Yeah, I'm going to go with probably just a regular compelling grade on the Film Freaks meter. It definitely is enjoyable, and I'm glad I watched it, and I do highly recommend it if you haven't.
Yeah, I do recommend it too. It's a good message.
Yeah. Fair enough. For those of you who have also seen The Peanut Butter Falcon, Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like and subscribe to our channel and check out some other reviews here and our website at filmphreaks.com. And we'll be seeing you in our next review. We'll see you later.